But State Department, they're ramping up its process to actually bring in Syrian refugees to this country. Believe it or not, a whole lot have come in since the Orlando shooting. In the administration, they want 10,000. Hillary wants more. Former Reagan advisor Bud McFarlane is here with a warning. Bud, a lot of people will be shocked to know, I think the number is 441 Syrian refugees have come into America. The second largest deposit of them, if you will, has actually been in Florida since the Orlando shooting. President Obama dead set on bringing in a whole lot, and Hillary wants even more.
Well, Charles, we are an immigrant country. It's part of what's made us such a great country, an innovative country. And yet, you really do have to be able to discern here in the government between immigrants who are benign, well-meaning, and a real boost to our economy, and those who really pose a problem. And based on track record, you look at the Obama administration's ability to discern between good guys and bad guys, it hasn't been very promising. Think back, Syria, 5 years ago. Even trying to find who were the good guys, the opposition that might have helped us prevent this civil war and the death of 400,000 people. The Obama administration couldn't figure out who were the people we should have been backing and those we should oppose. So it's not a very good precedent for trying to imagine that we're going to be able to figure out and vet thoroughly and properly 10,000 people to come in right now. There's also the issue of cost. Gosh, couldn't we spend $250,000 per family, which is what they're budgeting for this, better in the Middle East and get a lot more bang for the buck by funding and helping to support refugee camps in Jordan or Turkey? You'd get a lot better care, a lot less turmoil, and a lot less threat of bad guys sneaking through the systems.
And the administration's retort would be, if you're talking about the terror that we've seen in this country, most of it has been, quote, homegrown, people who are actually American citizens born in this country. And it's hard to point to, hey, a Syrian refugee that's come in under President Obama. And then, of course, there's also, and you alluded to it, the notion that America has always had open arms for immigrants. The Statue of Liberty says, give me your wretched and so forth. What do you say to the people who say that that should be the driving force behind our policies with respect to these refugees?
Again, immigration has been a bedrock principle of the United States throughout its history, and it ought to continue. But you've got to be able to have a vetting process that can enable you to know who poses a risk and who doesn't. And we can do that. And further, we can do a lot more good for a lot more refugees if we put that same amount of money to use in Turkey camps or in the camps in Jordan. It can be done. It is being done.
Can we keep those people safe over there if we start to establish these camps? I guess in Turkey wouldn't be a problem.
Well, we can do it. It will take very focused attention on providing the kind of services, including security, but it can be done. We have done it before. I look at what we did in third countries when the Vietnam War ended in the Philippines and other Southeast Asian countries. It worked, and it can work again. We've just got to have a little bit of focus, skill, professionalism, but it's the right way to go.
You know, the Saudi Deputy Crown Prince is met with President Obama. I've seen photographs of just literally just acres and acres of these great tents with air conditioning and just amazing facilities to temporarily house a refugee. And they haven't accepted, to my knowledge, even one Syrian refugee. How come our allies aren't playing more of a role in this?
Well, they should play a larger role. There are countries in the GCC, the Gulf countries, Qatar, the Emirates, and so forth, who are hosting refugees, but they ought to be hosting more. It can be done, and we ought to work with them in identifying ways to grow those camps with proper security and services, and we could spend the money implied by this proposal a lot better over there.
Bud McFarlane, thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Always a pleasure, Charles.